Hey YouTube. Hope I didn't scare y'all with the last video's title about it being hot because I in general I don't think it's gonna be a hot civil war. At least I hope it's not. The reason I say that is for a few factors, which is what I wanted to get into in this video. Number one, as I listed in the Twitter files video, we live in a time of relative privilege. Like when you think of the U.S. Civil War back in 1860, 1861 through 1865, you got to realize we were a lot poorer as a country back then, and then also it was about slavery, which was a whole worldwide horror that just needed to be stopped on a human level, and still needs to be stopped on a human level. There was a really even during the American Revolution, Thomas Jefferson, even hypocrite himself, genius, but he's a hypocrite, emphasized, and the founding fathers knew that slavery was going to be a core issue. And actually, during the American Revolution, they thought about getting rid of slavery and including slaves actually in the fighting force, but they didn't. The main reason I found out through history is they didn't want to fight two wars at the same time. They couldn't afford losing the southern states who relied on a slavery economy, and the British were the number one powerhouse at the time, and so they just didn't seem it worth the risk. Which is honestly, I would say, the only blemish on the American founding fathers, in my opinion. Is they were too cowardice to fight slavery at the time. So that's why the U.S. Civil War started back then, and then also just on a human to human level, I kind of wanted to get into a couple factors. One, weirdly enough, one is the logistics of the Civil War. Like there may be some extremists that do get involved and do riots and do that get a little violent, but an all-out civil war is unlikely on so many levels. Like number one, because we live in a society of privilege, a lot of us don't want to lose that privilege, and that privilege isn't race or money or anything of that. A lot of privilege is just waking up in the morning. It's being able to go to work. It's your loved ones, your friends, your family, and being able to semi-safely rely that on a semi-safely live your life. War happens from time to time, but in America at least, we live in a time of civility, despite the many unfairness of the American dream, which even I'm kind of waking up to these days. uh we are a first world, and we brought individual liberty to the West. So um I think the logistics of that psychologically, I don't think it's going to affect a mass amount of people. Two, I think the average American trusts others to an extent. With if you're walking down the alley at night, of course you're going to be scared of almost anyone. But in broad daylight, from everyday average life, I think most Americans relatively want peace with one another. Now, there's extremists, of course, and people are going through hard times, which then goes into mental health. But I think the vast majority of Americans don't want violence, and I think that alone is going to save us even today. I will critique Trump for a second. I don't think he did too bad in his first term. He kind of messed up the COVID response, but I don't think he did too bad. And same with Obama. I think Obama was pretty good overall. Not the best at execution, but pretty good. Surprisingly, our best wartime president. But Trump, round two, what are you doing? Like we need a leader in today's society, and with Charlie Kirk, with Israel, I'll say it, with Israel, with even Ukraine. I'm actually like I'm not going to get into. I'm not the best expert on those. I'm more of a domestic expert as far as how it affects America. But both of those conflicts we have not handled well at all. Uh, it hasn't been good at all. Now the EU is supposedly turning on us. Like, here's the point. I don't even necessarily blame Trump for the outcomes. I blame him for the lack of communication. Epstein is another one. You've got a creepy book with all these letters. If you haven't read it, good for you. Don't read it. It's creepy, but Trump, yeah, I think Trump really needs to step up, and I think he needs to not only step up on an international stage level, which is important, but also he needs to step up as far as avoiding. He needs to step up in order to avoid needing another Lincoln. We don't want another Lincoln. Like I love Lincoln to death. You know, he's a top two president, maybe number one, but it killed him. It did kill him in the end. He got assassinated, number one. But two, he lost, I think, like 30 pounds. He looked terrible at the end. I mean, it was a terrible time. Like the US Civil War round one was devastating because it was the first war with modern technology. Napoleon had cannons and rifles and such, but that the U.S. Civil War One, it was the first submarine, like metal. There's a naval term for it. The first metal submarine was used actually in the Civil War. Crazy to think about. Yeah, so that was happened, and then also it was just on a like modern level with weapons and. There's another factor. I'm not the best at the Civil War, actually. I'm more of like the Reconstruction phase and American Revolution, but I think we've modernized past that point. To be honest, I think most global conflict, this is what they call fifth generational warfare. I think we've advanced beyond like just carnage. I think it's now more psychological media more than anything. Like Google, I think Google is the most powerful weapon on earth, hands down. It's been the most powerful weapon for about 20 years now. AI actually is breaking that up, but yeah, I think it'll be different, and that includes the civil. Like if there was a civil war, let's just say it wouldn't be. I hope it wouldn't be like total upheaval. Even like so, like for example, even illegal immigrants, even like most modern day people, we care about each other more on a human level than we do on a selfish level. And there are exceptions. There are sociopaths and psychopaths, and a lot of them make it into high positions of power. But in order for there to be a global conflict or a domestic conflict, my bad, a domestic dispute, I just don't like. If you think of every like, in short, what this whole entitled video I'm trying to prove, I'm just talking to myself, which I'm learning how to do. But this whole entire video is for me to say, when you think about everyday Americans, how many of them would travel to another city to riot in the streets? Not a lot. Like there's really not a lot. Even like I'm passionate. I'm a very passionate patriot, but I, even at this point, I'm not traveling to another city. Like most people have day jobs. Most people have obligations. They have responsibilities. They have food to eat. They have their own lives. And until that's affected, and again, usually, if you look at history, usually what affects revolution and even civil war is power dynamics, which is usually money and especially food. Yeah, take someone's food away, see what happens. So, but even on the money scale, like a society can take a lot of financial inequality before a French Revolution happens. Like with French Revolution, people were starving in the street, and I understand like there's a homeless population that need food, but the French Revolution, I think it was like 15% of the population was starving. So there's a lot more that would need to happen, and hopefully it does. And again, I said on my last video, hopefully at this point things de-escalate. There can be room for open and honest dialogue, but until that happens, it's going to be very tense. It may still continue to be a little cold, as I put it in the last video, but for the most part, I hope that this turns America into more of an isolationist country, which I understand, like our NATO allies and our allies around the world is what allows us to be the number one country. But I think we've spread ourselves too thin, and I think it's now time to take care of home. So I think now, will the Republican Party survive? My my theory is this: I think the Democrat Party is just on its last legs now, especially after a couple days ago. Which is sad, but it's true. They're on their last legs now. He is a martyr. They're on their last legs now, and knowing Republicans, they're gonna mess it up. They're gonna have the perfect opportunity to take their fascist freaking dreams, and they're going to mess it up. So what might happen, and I'm just getting giddy even talking about this, is there may be a whole political revolution with multiple parties. So even though I'm still sad it'll be a two-party system, it may be like instead of the Democrat Republicans, it could be like I saw a party the other day, the Restorationists. It could be like the Restorationist versus the environmentalist. Like I'm excited about that. I'm stoked for that. So knowing our luck, both Republicans hopefully will drop the ball, which I expect that they will. The unfortunate thing is I hope there's just no World War III consequences, but hopefully they maintain it the next 4 years. We get a solid, honest election, and in that honest election, millennials and Gen Z just turn the tables, just turn it up, shake everyone up, make corporations take more risk in elections. Don't let them just choose whatever, red or blue. Make them actually think about their values, take more risk, be more involved as a society. I think people are going to vote more strongly, which is good. And there may be some violence, but again, hopefully it's not like a huge amount. Hopefully it's containable. And I think Charlie Kirk. I really again wasn't a big fan, but I think he would want America to use his tragedy as a turning point. Haha, isn't that funny? But even though I'm not even like a Republican, but he's no doubt the turning point. Things will never be the same. We'll see. But I hope Gen Z and millennials take advantage of this opportunity to make a more connected political spectrum. So that's my closing comments. Good news again. I don't think a civil war is going to happen. And we're all glad on that. But again, I could be wrong. I hope I'm right, but I could be wrong. So God bless. I'm out for the weekend. I actually got super good news today. I got maybe the best news I've gotten in like 3 months today. So I'm stoked. Gonna see Demon Slayer, but yeah, I hope y'all enjoy. I'll be making more political. There's a meme that I saw where it's like these like kids that are like the bee's knees, like in suits, and the title was when your war studies major finally becomes relevant. So who knows? If you like my commentary with history, I can make something out of this. But yeah, again, just as a quick background before I leave, I'm certified with pre-World War I history. I'm actually not the best with the Civil War, but especially the Revolution, the Constitution, and Reconstruction. I'm in the Gilded Age. I'm pretty good at. And then I've just studied intelligence agencies heavily and global, with the exception of the Middle East. I couldn't get in the Middle East because of something that happened at my university, but in Africa as a whole, I know a little bit, but not about like the culture, really more about the last like 400 years. But I'm pretty well known, so we'll see. Yeah, I hope you all enjoy. Let me know what you think. If you disagree, put it in the comments. Always down to talk. Thanks.